It's Stephanie Garcia, and I'm so excited because we just came back from VidCon, and it is literally one of the biggest content creator conferences that is out there. This year, I brought one of my my little thing, my little daughter with me, which was so much fun. It was our second time going together, but more importantly, we got to hang out with my girl, Eden Liu. And if you don't know who she is, you're about to meet her. She's absolutely amazing, wonderful content creator and live streamer. Like, she absolutely crushes it. So if you missed the biggest creator event of the year, don't worry, we've got you covered. We're going to be talking about all the different things about the hottest tips and tricks from industry pros. I'm talking about landing your dream brand deal. It's actually kind of easier than you think. Cracking the YouTube and Instagram algorithms, creating that evergreen content your fans will obsess over, and taking your podcast to new heights with these game-changing tools that were mentioned. And not only that though, but we're also going to talk about the value in creator diversity. And so before I hop in, let's give a shout out to Saeed, the facilitator. Hello from Germany, friend. It's been a minute. I know. I've been enjoying my summer, had a book launch and all the different things. I just needed to just like settle down and just chill for a bit. But shout out to Kama, who is also here. And then we also have Marcus. Friends, I love that you are here because, as I said before, we have an amazing guest. And she got to do a lot of the cool stuff because as I was pretty much hanging out in the exhibitor lounge doing all the fun activations that they had there, Eden was on the creator track. So before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about her. Eden Liu is a producer and the host of Camo Live Programming. She's been podcasting for over 7 years and loves testing and talking about creator tools. And so if that's you, or if you know anyone that's interested about content creation and just how to grow their channels across various platforms, today is the episode for you. And so having said that, let me bring my girl. How you doing?
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for having me. I am still going off of the VidCon high, not going to lie. Just all of the great energy from all of the creators I got to connect with, still processing all of the things that I learned. And the
Yeah.
absolute highlight of my VidCon was getting to hang out with you and making cakes with the little one.
The little one is amazing. She's so funny. She's all about the activations, and I love it because as a marketer, it gives you insight as to like what's the next trending thing, like and what's working. And so it's really fun to see that. But shout out to James Hicks, who is also here. Let me
Oh,
throw this up on
James,
the
I have
screen.
snacks. I have snacks for you, James. Always got
You always
snacks.
gotta have little like snack traps for James. He'll always be happy with that. And then shout out to Marcus. He's like, it's Eden. You know what's funny? I posted the video of you and I at VidCon, and then someone had said, "Is that Eden?" I was like, "It's Eden." So it's like you're being
What?
spotted, spotted by the Ecamm fan. And Daryl says, "Hi kids, hi."
Yo, what up, Daryl?
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's talk about first off, what is VidCon? So for those that have never been to VidCon before, how would you actually describe it in your own words?
VidCon, man. So I went in actually, this was my first VidCon. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And I would say after experiencing it, that it is exactly what it sounds like. It is about creating videos. It is creator heavy. The creator track, especially, was a lot about the current trends that are going on in the creator economy and like talking about tools and algorithms and best practices and brand deals, as you mentioned earlier, which is something that I feel like is becoming a bigger and bigger topic within the creator network lately. So I learned a lot and I got to connect with so many different amazing types of creators, and it was such a valuable experience. Like I'm really excited.
What badge did you get when you went to VidCon? Was it the industry track or the creator one?
So I went for the creator track because A, the industry track was a lot more expensive.
Yes, it
and,
is.
and and B, I just wasn't I one of my goals was to connect with creators. So
Yeah.
I figured that that might be the track that made the most sense for me and my goals at this specific event. If our goals were a little bit different, I might have gone for the industry track, but
Yeah.
this my main goals for this one was to largely connect with creators and really like understand the tools that are in their tech stack and like find out what holes are missing and get sort of everyone's takes on like AI. And that's just like sort of the hot topic right now in tech. And it's like I'm working for a tech company.
Yeah.
I was really interested in sort of hearing what AI tools people are using and what people are excited about or scared of when it comes to, all with the rise of Gen AI these days. So,
That is
yeah.
so true. Yeah, and so for those of you that have never been to VidCon before, as Eden said, it's a convention for content creators, but also for brands that want to work with content creators. And I feel like when I first heard about VidCon, it was like, oh, that's for YouTubers. But then I've actually seen it expand into TikTok creators, Instagram content creators, like basically content creators across all different platforms except LinkedIn. Although I will say, I feel like Goldie Chan was the one that like really brought personal branding LinkedIn to VidCon back when I spoke like in, gosh, it may have been like 2019 or something. But that was the first time I had done industry track. And that's how I know industry track is more business focused. It's more like B2B content creators in that sense. And same like you, this year I did the creator badge. And the one thing that I always noticed was that people really pay attention to your badge, especially if it's a brand. They're like, oh, you're a creator. What channel are you? Like they start like asking you questions like, what channel are you on? Let me see. Can I follow you? Did it? And I was like, oh wow, okay. Like we're married now. How did you feel about that when people like approached you at the event?
Yeah, I definitely feel like people were checking out what type of badge that you had. And the first question often was, oh, you're a creator. What is your channel about? What type of content do you create? And I was like, oh, wait, what do I do here? What was my job again? And then there's actually sort of a funny moment at the Opus Clip dinner where we were going around the table and introducing ourselves. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm just here with my friend Andrew Can. Shouts to Andrew Can. Great friend that I got to hang out with. And I just totally forgot to mention that I'm also producer and host of Camo Live Programming and that I do most of our product videos. It was just a total moment. It was also at the end of the conference, and I was like, I feel like I'd been repeating it so much that by then my brain was like almost tired of hearing it. But yeah, like that was definitely the icebreaker for a lot of the conversations. And it's a really good one actually, because when you know what type of content someone creates, it gives you an insight into what they're interested in. And if you are a content consumer, which let's be honest, we all are at this point,
Yes.
like sort of what their main channels are, I feel like do tell you a little bit about them and like what type of content and like how they engage with their audience is sort of like my take when it comes to the icebreaker, what content do you create and on what platform
Now you've been
question.
to other events too, like NAB, right? And so brands here saying like, I need to go. It's my first time at NAB this year, and it was so valuable. What would you say would be the difference from NAB? Like, first off, what is NAB? How does it differ from VidCon? So, because I feel like a lot of us, especially in Ecamm fam, there are certain conventions that we'll go to. Like earlier, I had talked about like how James Hicks and I, we went to CES and we were on a mission. Like, we had this thing of like, we're going here for X, Y, and Z. Tell me a little bit about NAB because I didn't go. And Doc and you guys were just creating all this FOMO. So, what's the difference between NAB and VidCon?
So NAB is the National Association of Broadcasters, which was originally a very like TV media focused event. And I basically know this because of our friends like James Hicks and Doc Rock, who are NAB veterans. But slowly there has been a shift being made towards in us content creators that create content on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, in our home studios. Like like the creator economy is like finally being recognized by like the old school TV and media industry, which is one of the biggest things, one of my major takeaways from NAB. And as far as the experience goes, it was pretty different than VidCon. The exhibitors at NAB were a lot more focused on product, I would say. Like whether that was software or hardware peripherals, the activations were very much focused on presenting their products and what value they can offer to people creating content. Now, whether that it there definitely were different exhibitors that were targeting different types of creators. Some were a lot more professional production TV type exhibitors that were focused on that, but there were very many tools that were very, very relevant to us, people that create content in our home studios.
Oh, interesting.
Um, yeah, so like the VidCon activations we were talking about just in the pre-show were a lot more fun, I feel. Like, you know, Disney was there, Minecraft was there, like we decorated tiny cakes together. There was none of that at NAB.
There's no
And
tiny cakes at NAV. I don't know, man. I might just have to write that off right now.
missed opportunity if you ask me, because
Yeah.
I do think that being a good exhibitor and one that really creates a memory that lasts at a conference, like I do think that is extremely valuable. Like I'm thinking back on NAB and I'm like, man, I know I talked to so many brands and looked at so many different products, but like comparing them to the experiences at VidCon, getting to decorate cakes with you, getting to take
Mm-hmm.
pictures at the Disney's Descendants of the Red activation, which was just like this really cool, like little tunnel with like insane lighting that was just made for really great photo ops.
Yeah.
Like VidCon was, I feel like, a lot more focused on the experience of actually being there, while
Yeah.
NAB was a lot more product focused, and it did have a more
It's like
professional
breaking
vibe,
news
quote
of like,
unquote.
hey, I'm launching this new product line. This is everything that you need to know, or this is why it's better than what we previously had and whatnot. So yeah, I could totally see that as being a thing.
Yeah. I still think both of them are really good events. It just really depends on your intent and what you're looking to achieve.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm fixing this over here in the background. I'm just like, I want to change this. Okay, now I'm okay. All right, cool. So then you got to go to all of the really cool creator tracks. And even though I had a creator track badge, like I said, I was with my little one. I was like, I don't think she could actually sit through like a 45-minute session and whatnot. If we're not getting like free swag and stuff, then it's like it wasn't on the list, right? Like I went to VidCon mostly with her because she wanted to do the meet and greets. And I could share a little bit about if anyone is a parent and you're like, should I bring my kid to it? You absolutely should, especially if they have an opportunity to meet like their favorite content creator. Because if you're a content creator, it definitely inspires them. And I'll tell my story too about like how Emma got like gifts featured on her favorite content creators YouTube thing. But for now, tell me what was the first session that you went to about brand deals? Because I didn't get to go, so I'm here to take notes.
So this is definitely one of the ones that stood out to me the most. It was by Justin Moore, the creator wizard. Um,
Yeah.
he's totally super friendly dude, and he just comes off like you want to hang out with him for one. But also his session was, I think it was called like pitching a brand deal that no one will be able to turn down. It was probably not that verbatim because it definitely rolled off the tongue a little easier. But I really, really valued what he shared about pitching using the rope pitching method. So last time we actually talked just in May, sort of about pitching brand deals from both a creator and brand perspective. And the basics were kind of similar to the points that we hit about talking when we were talking about influencer marketing. When, like, I don't know if you remember, but I talked about how so many creators reach out to us and it's just like, hey, like, I love camo, like, let's work together. And I'm like, great, what did you have in mind?
Yeah.
And 99.9% of the time, none of them have an answer for me. And this was what the talk was about. Justin was like, he gave super actionable tips. I'm definitely not stalling as I try to remember what
No,
ROPE
you're
actually
good.
stands for. Relevant, organic, proof, and easy to execute. So,
Hey, you got it.
yes. So the concept is that you want to pitch a brand on content that's relevant to campaigns that they are either executing right now or have executed in the past, to sort of show that you've done your research for what the brand actually values. Which I was like, yes. After every point he was making, I was like, yes, Justin, you go. And he talked about having organic content that you'd already created around the topic to sort of show as proof that you're able to talk about this in a meaningful way and that it is, relevant to your channel and what you do.
Okay.
And E stands for easy to execute,
Wait,
which
what was
was
the
sort of
P?
just proof. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's relevant organic
Organic.
proof,
Yeah. And then
and then okay,
proof.
so E.
E was easy to execute, as in not easy. We all know creating videos is not as easy as everyone makes it sound, but easy to execute as in like a well laid out game plan. So,
Mm.
for example, it's like, hey, I'm going to create these 3 TikTok videos for you, 2 Instagram posts, and like one thing that's going to sit on YouTube or something. Like, as a way for a brand to basically not be able to turn down your offer, or at the very least keep you in mind
Yeah.
when they are looking to build, a relationship with creators. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, I would love if a creator wrote me an email and was like, hey,
Came
I
to the
heard
table
in
with
your
that.
last few
Yeah.
live streams you were talking about this topic. Here's how it's relevant to me and what I do, and here's a post that I've already made about it before. And
Yeah.
then goes into like a content plan that would get my attention, whether I was looking for a collaboration or not. And I was just like, this is the information that everyone needs to hear, because like I'm sure other people get this a lot too, but it's just like the empty sort of, hey, let's work together.
I don't know why that made me. I was just like, okay. And um, no, it's really funny because even now, like after VidCon, like where my head is at, I'm thinking about TikTok is gunning for Prime Day, right? So they have their deals for you days that are coming up, and you're already seeing
Ooh.
like these super brand day deals coming out, and there's some really like hard hitting names that are there. And then you have Amazon Prime Day, and I'm just like, literally, if you were an influencer or an affiliate, TikTok shop affiliate and whatnot, I would be taking notes. I would be applying that rope method that you just mentioned. Like I would go to the brand's current TikTok or their YouTube social media channels and be like, what are the questions people are asking about that specific product? Because if I could start creating organic content around why I love this particular product, then I think that would be very helpful, because we're always looking for how can we sort of support a brand, because they're going to go all in, right? They're already going to go all
Exactly.
in if it's the deal for you days or it's Prime Day, or if it's their super brandy on TikTok shop. So I love that we're having this conversation, because I'm like, yeah, like, ooh, you need that for sure.
Yeah, and another thing about brand deals is I feel like this is something that I've really only become more conscious of within, like, I would say the last year and a half. It's like this is kind of the I don't want to say easy, because it really isn't that easy, but it's like the most straightforward way for you to start monetizing as a creator. Like, as opposed to getting AdSense like status and then like making the what, like $20 off of that,
I, I love my extra $100 a month. Not gonna lie though, it's just like, hey, I mean
I
that's cool. That's cool.
it's not bad, but like, it takes a while for you to be able to even qualify for AdSense. And like, I think that brand deals are more and more brands are seeing the value of deals, especially like as you talked about in your book, working with smaller creators who have much more engaged followings. Like, you don't need a massive following and on 500 different channels to be able to get these brand deals. You just really have to find the brand deals that align with you and what your audience and community is actually interested in. I
For
think that's
sure.
like one of my major takeaways.
And then Saeed's question is, by organic, do you mean content you create just out of passion for a product/brand?
Yes. So basically, the way Justin talked about it, because he did bring up the fact, he was like, oh, well, if they already see me creating content for free, why would they pay me for it? But it's proof of execution. It's proof
Yes.
that you know the product and that you actually know how to use it and actually understand it, as opposed to starting from a blank slate. Like, if a brand doesn't have to coach you on their product and make sure and give you key talking points, if you already know these, if you can already show that you know these, that makes a really strong impression.
Yeah.
And I can't, say for sure, but like, I'm willing to bet that if a brand thinks that you actually understand their product and what they are trying to achieve with their marketing campaigns, that they're more likely to pay you a little bit more than if you are just starting from scratch with them.
That's very true. So again, like I said, I've been living on TikTok for like the past month and a half, just really diving into what does it take to be a successful live shopping host, right? And to your point about knowing the ins and outs of a product, I had done certain things. I was like, oh, I'll talk about like this camera mount or this or da 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 da. But the one where, girl, like I felt like I killed it just naturally was when I talked about the Ordinary skincare line. And I had like all my stuff lined up, right? Like over here. And people were like, what is glycolic acid do? I was like, oh, let me tell you. Oh, what is lactic acid do? I was like, oh, let me tell you. Oh, you got fine lines and wrinkles? This is what I use. And I was speaking from my own experience. And I feel like the viewers, as they were watching me, they're just like, oh, she's not here just to get a commission, right?
It
Like she's really
translates.
here sharing her story of like how I overcame strawberry skin. Like it's kind of like what we call it if you have keratosis pilaris, aka chicken skin. But I was able to just share so many stories. And at one point, this guy was like, "Do you work for them?" I was like, "No, like I'm literally just so passionate about this brand." And I went live for probably 3 or 4 hours. The 4 hours was my longest one, just about
Whoa.
this skincare line. And I just knew what every single product did. And he was literally like, "They need to hire you." And I was like, "Yo, you know what? Like, I never considered myself like a skincare influencer, but I was definitely like, hey, I know how to keep it tight."
Dude, I follow so much skincare. I have learned so much from skincare TikTok, and I'm like, it
Skin
is
talk,
a
yeah.
whole lane. Yeah. And like that's also why having creators that are familiar with these products are really, really valuable. Like our friend Mary Lou does a really good job with, I feel like, her UGC content, because like she truly tests it from a perspective of how someone would use it. And
Yeah.
like whether that's tech or her beauty stuff that she does, like I'm just like, if Mary Lou has done a review on it, I know that it has been thoroughly vetted, and I feel like
Yes.
that's like actual value that you can offer as a creator. Like it's just, skincare TikTok is a vibe, and I have definitely bought so many things from skincare TikTok.
Oh yeah, I was like, it was a whole thing. And then you know what I also realized too, and like shout out to James, he's like SG, you've been killing it on you've been killing it on TikTok. Let me tell you again, just on the flip side, because I've been behind the camera producing live shopping events for clients like L'Occitane and whatnot. And then I've been in front of the camera. I've also done like faceless live streams where it's just like my hands doing it.
Oh,
And
interesting.
the one that I thought was like, okay, how am I going to level this up? Because I can't use Ecamm on TikTok Live Studio because it's only for
Oh,
PC.
that's
So I was just
right.
like, oh man, how am I going to do that? And then I got like this rotating, I don't know what you call it, like a base. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you
Yeah,
just put
like
the product on there and it just like rotates. And I was like, look
yes.
at me. Like, cause like Ecamm fam, we all like, we get gas syndrome, gear acquisition syndrome for Ecamm. We're like, oh,
100%.
Elgato prompter and the key lines. I was like, now I have like gas for, for TikTok Live Studio. It's a whole different thing. Like, if you guys aren't like hanging out there, that's completely fine, but it's definitely a great place where people get to connect with people. Definitely for sure. All right. So let's talk about YouTube and the Instagram algorithm because it was interesting. Okay, obviously I'm a TikTok fan. So because I went to the TikTok Creator Lounge and I did that whole experience and I asked all these questions, but I didn't get to do Instagram. I did the YouTube thing with you, but even then I wasn't like asking questions. So were there any key takeaways that you learned about growing your audience on YouTube and on Instagram?
Yeah, so I went to the YouTube algorithm talk with Renee Ritchie was on there, and Todd oh, his like a French last name, so I'm gonna bungle it, but it's like Beaupre or something. But he basically runs the YouTube algorithm or manages it. And so they talked a lot about the like giving an overview of the algorithm and how it works, and basically how it's like science. The algorithm does not hate you. It does not have a personal vendetta against you. It just kind of talked about like how you can use the analytics provided in YouTube Creator Studio, which has been getting so many updates within the last year, apparently, to better adjust your content for watch time and retention, which then leads to like better video performance. And so I will say the session gave a good overview of the algorithm, but I got to talk to someone at the YouTube lounge also from the technical marketing um, department about the activation, just because I wanted to pick his brain a little bit more. And he dove into some of it because he actually runs sort of the AI part of it, which, take that for what you will, whatever AI means to you. But he was talking about some of the AI features in the YouTube Creator Studio app, which I had just never noticed before. There's an entire inspiration tab in there, apparently, that is pretty new, but they've been adding a lot more tools. Like, historically you have tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy that like sort of help you better analyze and understand how your videos are doing. But like YouTube themselves are coming for those services because like they're just like they want to provide the creators directly with these types of analytics.
I
And
was so
like,
curious about what was happening with those
yeah.
tools, especially when Mr. Beast dropped his own analytics thing. And from what I've heard and what I've seen, it's very comprehensive. So I'm just curious about the whole vidIQ and our good friends over at TubeBuddy. Huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how. I mean, I feel like they're going to have to just keep adding tools of their own to make sure that they can compete with the analytics that are built into like YouTube Studio. But yeah, like I think one of the things that he mentioned was how the YouTube Creator Studio can help you like can provide you with like content gaps, like not just like other content that is working well within sort of your
They do
content
content
lane.
gaps? No way.
Yeah, I didn't see that in my own YouTube Creator Studio,
Okay.
but he definitely mentioned it because it was kind of like he was like it's not they don't want to just show you what does well. They want to show you where the holes are that like people are looking to
Where it's like
fill.
supply and demand, right? See, and
Yes,
that's again, I'm such a nerd when it comes to TikTok,
me
but
too.
there's
Oh, was you
definitely
too,
like the
but not
creator
TikTok, but
search
yeah.
insight in there where it'll tell you where the content gaps are. But I didn't know that YouTube Studio does it. And I'm like, I'm taking a peek while you're chatting about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he said it's like coming soon or if it's already there, but I
Oh,
was
got it.
like definitely like they were really they he had a lot of tools that sounded really compelling about like using YouTube Creator Studio because I sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I try not to get too much into the weeds with looking at analytics sometimes, especially when it comes to the camo content because like I know what my purpose is when it comes to the camo content and it's like to educate people about the product. Yes, I want to know which videos are performing well, but I'm not going to lie, Stephanie, I can spend like hours in there. Like once I get
I
sucked
love data.
in,
I could geek out on data
I
like all day, every day.
know.
And then at some point you just have to like get your
Step
head
away.
out of
Also,
the
yes.
spreadsheets and the data and just like now I have to create, right? And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people underestimate how much time and effort goes into like thinking what you're going to create and scripting it. Like I feel like a bulk of what I do is I'll spend like a part of my morning just to see how content has shifted when I'm creating Instagram reels for clients, right? Because I'll like, oh, like at one point it was looping video with boom, 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 like text would come on like at certain beats. And then I would do that. And then something else flipped where it's like now it's all about transitions. Or now they're doing this thing where they're pretending to like draw and write. And it's like, it's just interesting to follow those trends. But then again, that's Instagram Reel, which is very much short form video versus YouTube, where I feel like a lot of content creators focus on the long form. So just to hear that they're acknowledging the content gaps for that is really interesting to me.
Yeah. And speaking of like creating outlines and scripting for videos, like apparently YouTube Creator Studio can start to do that for you. Like look out ChatGPT because he showed me like the YouTube Creator Studio from the inspiration tab, basically generating a video outline with like topics you should hit in it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is where I should
What?
have been the whole time,
Okay, no, wait
apparently.
a second. I'm gonna hide this one real quick because doop, I think I found it. I wanna know if like this if Ecamm will let me just drop it in here. Nope, it's gonna make me log in. Boop. But we'll do this. Let me see if I could share my screen because I found the inspiration tab on mine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like, and so I think it's only on desktop too, because I looked in the mobile app and I didn't see it there. But I definitely was, yeah, the inspiration tab.
Yeah, this
Um,
is what I was looking at, and I was like, wait a second, because then you could see like, oh, I've seen this
yeah,
in the app. I've seen the one where it's like people are asking about streaming setup or camera monitor. Because for a hot minute, like my whole thing was about Opus. Like everyone was asking about Opus. Like one of my
yeah.
shorts like blew up on Opus because my hook was everyone's using Opus clips wrong.
Oh, I remember that one actually. The one where you
Yeah,
was that the one about like checking running your competitor
running it for
videos through?
competitors.
Yes.
Hey, see, you know what's up. Yeah, but I love this. Like just to kind of see, look, I love how they also. This is very on point of the content that I create. So I'm actually really loving that. I'm loving that you mentioned this channel inspiration thing because streaming setup I could definitely talk about because I've
Yeah.
definitely redone my office where I have like a standing desk and then I obviously have this for live streaming and whatnot, but I definitely have a different streaming setup for when I do the TikTok live stuff. Video content streamer mic.
I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, all of
Um,
this.
all of this. I'm like, wait, this is so relevant. That's crazy. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I love it. All right. So let's see this. Summer is saying true. Another type of analysis paralysis that have
It's a dangerous line to walk sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and not even gonna lie too. It's like because I create UGC content, I would say, for like Amazon, TikTok, and all these other stuff. And so it's kind of there is a lot of data to look at, and especially
Yeah.
looking at creator search insights on TikTok for one client versus another. How do you okay? So I'm going to ask you, how do you organize your content inspiration? Because I'm always like, oh, this would be great for this one, or this would be great for eCam. Like, how do you organize your thoughts?
Well, that's a bit of a loaded question, I would say, for one. I I'm a big fan of honestly thought vomiting into a doc first. Like
Okay.
whenever I am feeling very, very creative, I can my brain gets overflowed with just ideas, 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 and then I need to just get them out first. And so before I forget them, I'm not gonna lie, I use just notes on
On your
Apple
phone. Got
on the
it.
phone to
Yeah.
start with, and I'm just hashing out ideas, ideas. So often, like for example, if I know there's a show topic that I want to do, I'm like, great, I decide on the show topic, and then I'm like, I know when it's coming up, and then I'm honestly gonna say I get a lot of great ideas when I'm like showering or like running or like
Yeah.
walking.
When you're not like, and so there's something that's to be said about that, where it's like when your body is moving and,
Yes.
your brain cells are flowing in that sense. So I totally agree with you. And I used to be the same way where I would like my notes app would have all this different stuff, but then I couldn't organize it. Or I'm also like very guilty of being that person where I would, do you ever send text messages to yourself? You're like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
here's what I do.
Absolutely. I send text messages to myself. And as far as like organization goes, I will say I'm a little bit old school. I like writing it out and kind of
Yeah.
like being like, this is a pillar topic and being like, all right, now this needs to go here. And then sort of just doing it manually. Like it makes sense to me that way. I feel like if I run it through some AI tool to organize, shouts to Brusco, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I know.
he's the homie. He knows I got lots of thoughts about a lot of things. Um, but like doing it manually, something about whether it's like copy pasting from one doc to another or physically writing it out helps
Yeah.
me organize it in a way that's going to help me later when I'm talking about it. If I'm
Okay.
just running it through an AI tool, I feel like I'm
Let me
gonna
put
miss
you
out
on
on that part.
something.
Uh-oh.
Let me put you on something because I think you're gonna love this. And this has literally been saving like the brain space and the amount of text messages that I would send to myself. So I'm just gonna put you on this and like you let me know if you like it or not. This is free. It's called raindrop.io. I'm not sponsored by them
Ooh.
whatsoever. This is basically me managing multiple clients and my own ideas.
Okay.
And it's like back in the day when we used to use like bookmark managers, we would find something. I don't know if you remember this site called Stumble Upon, but you would stumble upon different cool things and you could bookmark it, right? Well,
Yeah, I
oftentimes,
remember.
oftentimes when I'm like just consuming content on Instagram or on TikTok, I'm like, hey, I really like this transition, or hey, I really like how they did like this product demo, right? Or if even if it's just like a trending audio or all that stuff. This one, like when I'm in the middle of like looking at something, where you could share your Instagram reel, right? I don't even use the
Yes.
bookmark on Instagram anymore because like I would have collections and I would lose track of it. But this one I could
Yeah,
share it
same.
to raindrop.io and then it's organized by client. So I could say, oh, this would be great for my SaaS client. This would be great for my skincare client. This would be some great lifestyle content. Or here's a cool CapCut edit that I want to try. Yeah. And like game changer. Because whenever I'm just like, hey, I don't know what to do today, I'll just go look through like it's like my swipe file. I'm like, oh, that's an easy one to do. Because when you share it, you could actually type in your notes. And so sometimes if I'm like waiting in line for something, I'll just say like, oh, this was the first
Yeah.
frame, the second frame, this da da da, and I'll just map it out. And then when it's batch content day, I'm just like, boof. I'm in it. But this is, and it's free, babe. It's free. Like, unless you want to like share it with other people on your team. But for me, I just organized it into collections. You could search using its AI. Like, what was that one thing that had a picture of, I don't know, a
Okay.
Pikachu, right? And it'll find it,
You're
right?
you're talking
Yeah.
me into this
Yeah.
because I have like, the camo content that I do. I have the lifestyle podcasting content that I do, and I have like some miscellaneous other content
My
that I do
brain, yeah.
sometimes. And so it's like just all these different ideas that come to me at all these different times. And you said it's free, so I'm for sure gonna try it
Yeah,
out.
no, it's
I don't
definitely
have to
give it a
pay for it.
shot.
So
They have an iOS app and an Android app for it too, which because I was using another one, but then you had to pay extra, and I was just like, man, I already got all these SaaS subscriptions and whatnot. But
yeah,
this one was just basically it's free on desktop and on mobile. You're only paying like maybe $28 a year if you want to share it with other people on your team, like you want to like collaborate and whatnot. So I love the
yeah.
fact that Saeed is already on it. This dude's like already.
Oh man, if Saeed is already using it,
I know,
then
right? Then you
that's
know
like
it's
that's
good.
just like check mark right there.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so like you just have it here, and I was like, no way, I love this. But I'm gonna put you on it as far as like just try it out and then report back to me as far as like what you think
Yeah,
about it.
I definitely will. I definitely will, because I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes my notes, I'm like the notes app is not cutting it sometimes, and there's too many of them. There's too many of them. I have notes on the computer. I have note. Is that
Yeah,
Emma? I want to give her a heart too.
I know. Yeah, and there's a Chrome plugin too. As like so he knows so much. But yeah, there's a Chrome plugin. So if I'm just like scrolling through different things, I'm like, oh, this is really cool, or da 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 da, and it's I'm telling you, like before I'd be like, well, where is that thing that I texted myself? You know, I'm like, where did it
Yeah.
go? Like, what did I do with it? Did I put it in my notes or did I put it in my messages? Did I put it like now
No,
it's just there,
I'm just it's so relatable because I like
right?
sometimes I'm like I don't know if I texted it to myself or if I put it in like an iCloud note or if I
Or
sent
did
it
I
to my
share it to
burner account.
someone?
Like yeah, like I'm like I don't know where this is. It's somewhere though. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna try this out for sure.
Okay. So for those of you that are just tuning in, we're just basically breaking down what we learned at VidCon and all the amazing things we talked about. Justin Moore, which if you haven't seen him speak before, I heard him speak. I was in
Yo,
his session at Vid Summit last year. Totally crushed it. Like the
yeah,
crowd was just line. You know, at the end when you're done speaking, people line up to ask you questions.
yes,
Dude had like a whole thing, and I felt so bad cutting people off because I was like the room MC, and I was like, I'm sorry, you're
yeah,
the last one. You know, it's like the checkout counter when you're like, no, sorry, line ends here, line ends
yeah,
here. But yeah, definitely check out Justin Moore. He also has a newsletter, which I don't know if you've seen it before, but he's really great at talking about creators and how to pitch brands and all of that stuff.
yeah.
We
I
talked
think is
about
it at
YouTube,
Creator Wizard? Like that's
Creator
where I
Wizard.
yeah,
Yeah,
Creator Wizard, Justin Moore. Everyone look him up, follow him. Like best practices, you will absolutely learn something from him.
for
Like for
sure.
sure.
And shout out to Marcus. He says, did I just call myself? Bro, let me tell you, like, I would leave voice messages for myself. I'm like, well, I ain't got time to listen to myself. Leave a voice message. Like, transcribe this. We talked about the YouTube channel inspirations, things to pay attention
Yeah.
to, and how it's evolving as far as, you know, you've got these other channel tools that are out there, but how are they going to differentiate themselves when you see Mr. Beast coming to the game with his stuff? YouTube's got their own thing going on. I've talked about TikTok in the sense of their creator search insights, but again, not gonna lie, this raindrop thing, discovered it because there was just a need for it, completely free, friends. Just drop it in there, go for it, have fun
Yeah,
with it.
I have it open right now, and I'm about to download it on my phone right now too,
I'm
because I
telling you,
definitely
I
want to
would
try it
sit
out.
there because you know how like every now and then we like to doom scroll. I'll be honest, I'm the like the person that likes to doom scroll every now and then. I'm like, hey, that's actually
Yeah.
really cool. I would love to do that. Let me take a stab at it. All
We
right,
can get ideas from doom scrolling, I would say. Like,
I
you know,
think so.
it is sometimes, you know, we don't want to fall into the trap, but at least I know for me, I can no longer consume any content without viewing it from a content perspective. Like,
Yes,
even if it's like not a topic that is one that I'm creating content about, I'm like, this like editing style or like the way they did this caption or
oh
like
yeah.
this transition, you know, it's like we can still get inspiration from doom scrolling
For
sometimes.
sure. Yeah, and these days when I'm doom scrolling, I do it on my walking pad because I was like, if I'm just gonna doom scroll, I might as well like, you know, get my steps in at the
Get
same
some
time.
steps in. I love
So that
that.
works out. Did you catch anything about like the Instagram algorithm? I saw some like recaps on
So
Instagram, but like did you
I
catch
missed
anything that was just
Instagram.
like, oh, okay,
No, yeah, I missed
sorry,
Instagram.
Instagram
Yeah.
down. I mean, I went to the
Next
okay,
time, next time.
I did go to the Instagram creator activation that
Yeah.
was on the second floor. And What was it? We got like some. Oh, here it
Oh
is.
yeah. I also
We
like
got some popcorn.
I will say, yeah, the popcorn.
We had some popcorn,
Okay.
a little bear, and I think you had your first bubbly, right?
Yes, but that fiery cheddar was not fiery at all, okay? That fiery cheddar was not fiery. That's all I
It
have to
was
say.
not fiery enough for Eden. That's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so sorry, Instagram, we didn't go, which is interesting. And I think it's mostly because, well, for me, in part, I had my little one, so obviously I couldn't go
Yeah.
to very long sessions. But activation wise, I definitely did show up. But when I saw the recap videos of people just sharing their VidCon stuff, there were things that I had heard from, oh gosh, his name's got to come back to me. There's this big Instagram guy, and every time I open the app, there's his face. It's Charlene Johnson's son, Brock. Yeah, Brock always gives me like the latest updates on the Instagram. And I felt
Yeah.
that the recap from VidCon was just lined up with everything that he had to say. So I wasn't too worried about it.
So just go follow him is what
Just
you're
go
saying.
follow him, basically. And then go get your free popcorn. So he's saying LinkedIn is pushing their video reels, just saying there are already a trillion new create videos on LinkedIn experts since last week. Oh, I haven't been on LinkedIn for a minute. So I haven't posted for like 2 weeks. And I felt also just like, does anyone know I'm alive? Are they going to send out like,
I did also notice that there's a tab in the LinkedIn app now.
did
A
you?
video tab. Yeah.
I
Like I feel like it popped up within the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I have been slacking on LinkedIn too. When I am at events, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
Like
not, yeah.
I try to be really present and sometimes I mean I'm not gonna lie, I had a video deadline to hit this week also. So I just have not been back on LinkedIn yet, but like I am on the way. I
LinkedIn, we
promise.
see you. We'll be back there in a
Yeah,
hot minute.
we'll be back. We'll be
This is
back.
this is my okay. So my first LinkedIn post coming back was the video of Emma, you, me, and Emma at the YouTube
Oh
champ
yeah. Oh my God.
thing. Yeah, that was fun.
That was so fun.
Did
Yeah.
I have it on here? Let me see. And I'm laughing at myself because this is the YouTube video that they created for us, but it has a TikTok timestamp or a
That's
watermark.
amazing. Oh my God, I just noticed that. That's so good.
I was like, why did I do that? I was like very intentional. Like, I want to talk about the YouTube Creator Lounge. And then, womp womp, it has a, sorry, that was my bad. Daryl Stevens says that he doesn't have the tab yet. That's okay. That's cool. I think
I do
it'll
think
come
it's
soon.
interesting sometimes how like apps roll out things at different times for different users. Like Instagram, I feel like is one of the main ones that does that. Where like I remember for a while, Mary Lou was doing a lot of like Instagram update contents, and I would be like, "Yo, I don't have that," and like wouldn't get it for like 3 months or something.
Yeah.
And so I do think it's interesting. I wonder. I'm really curious how like apps decide
Well,
who gets what
you're
features.
in the product, you're in SaaS too, right? And so I know for us in my experience, it was always kind of like you would release it to your beta testers first in order to get
Yeah.
feedback, and they might leak the news and whatnot depending on, you know, if that's part of their promotional plan, and then it would go to public. But even then, I feel like Instagram is very like, but it's going to be in these countries first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. The rollout plan just feels like it's a long time, and by the time you get it, you're already over it because something else has already like come
Already
into
been out.
play.
Yeah. Or
And
like I
you're
got another tool first that, you know, instead
Raindrop.
of yeah. Yeah. Actually I'm spending all of my time on Raindrop over the next 3 days. So
You're gonna
sorry,
start
LinkedIn.
organizing your stuff. Like I like Marie Kondoed basically all my text messages. I was like, boom, forward, boom, do this, da 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 da. All right,
I
let's
do
talk.
need to organize my LinkedIn posts doc though, because that is just
It's
that
on a
is
whole
just-
nother level.
yeah. Yeah.
love
So that might be the first thing that I like plop in there and see how
Okay.
I can organize it.
Let's get into like our swag because I don't want to like delay it any longer. Show me what you got, and I'll show you what I got. That sounds so weird.
So I am really excited about this balloon light. I'm not going to lie. So this is a balloon light from Zenico.
Did it
And
already lose its air? I had you.
Well,
you like you.
so I actually realized I forgot to close it. So that it's not that was user error, but
Okay, so while she is doing that, let me show you my favorite little thing. So it's hot in the summer, especially in SoCal.
Yes.
Did you see one of these? And look what it says.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Yo,
and
it says
so
TikTok. TikTok
yeah,
what?
it
This
says
is TikTok.
TikTok One. So I don't know if you know what TikTok One is, but it's like this app that it's in alpha testing, since you and I were just talking about product
Oh,
roadmaps.
okay.
And it's supposed to be like this all encompassing of doing all the different things that you can do.
Interesting. But that's also so. First of all, I love it when they give away functional items. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Speaking of functional, this was my destination
I
creation,
was like, I also got one of
right?
those. I'm so gonna use this for either cable organization or makeup. Who knows which
And like
one? But
I
yeah,
mobbed deep in there. I was very much.
nice.
It's what happens when you get like a little munchkin to go with you too. And you know what's so funny is that you got to pick a product from the TikTok shop, and I got like this ion hair straightening tool, and Emma really wanted
Oh, nice.
this, which
Oh,
is
that's
like
so cute.
yeah, it's like a little fanny pack, and she
Fanny
put it
pack.
on. Yeah, and she's like, "Mom, I'm you," because I had my little fanny pack with like like the hotel key, and I was like, "You stop."
Oh
I was
my
like, "This little
god,
girl roasting me." Okay, show me your
my
thing.
heart. Okay, so this is the balloon light. It lights up, obviously, but you probably can't tell exactly, but I'm gonna hold it to one side. See how the light like diffuses instead
Oh,
of
I love
being
that.
really
Yeah.
harsh? And so this was the big size that they had. It also came in a smaller size, which could be really good if you want to put one on each side. But this also has like different warmths. Like this is
Can
like
you
a
do
little bit
colors too,
more.
or is it just more of like temperature?
So this one is just color temperature, but they do also have the ones with colors. Like shouts to Zenico, yo, y'all
Vasco
need to.
just said that's a light.
It is, but this tool, this light, it held up on the flight home. Like it's still inflating. I don't hear any leaking, which I feel like was my main concern when it came to balloon lights, because I did also pick one up at NAB, and that one did get a leak on the way home. So
Oh,
this one is held up, and the use case is portability for people creating content on the go. And I will turn it off now so it is not blinding
Eco says
everyone.
light balloon animal win. Here's another one. BRB going horizontal. I actually thought this was really, really interesting
Oh
because you know how
yeah.
everyone's big on vertical video. And then for them to come out and say, be right back, going horizontal, I was like, okay, as a content creator, is that something that I need to start paying attention to? Because did you end up going to the TikTok Creator Lounge at
Yeah,
all?
so I did ask. I just wanted to talk to someone at TikTok about sort of like what tools they, or like what trends or what direction they were sort of like pushing creators in. And
Yeah.
long form content, horizontal content was one that got brought up. Like he was like, there's more and more people creating horizontal content on TikTok, and I haven't come across it myself, but I also don't use it quite that much. Oh, our medals. Oh, mine is in the other room. I forgot to get that.
This is
But
my
I did
medal.
get my awesome tumbler.
Oh, you did? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mine's downstairs. I should have brought it upstairs. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
that
okay.
was
I got
cool.
mine.
The,
So yeah,
swag wise, they were. It was like
they came
this
through.
isn't
They
cheap.
came
Like this
through.
isn't one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's gonna go in the recycling bin. Like by
It
the
has
end
like
of
a
the week.
nice weight to it.
Yeah,
Like,
this one I was very proud of it. And he said like the company that made it, they're based in New York. Do you remember the guy that we were talking to in line?
yeah, he was
Yeah,
very cool. It had really good
it
vibes.
was cool. And then what else did I get from them?
Oh,
Fenty.
the
The
Fenty.
yo, I was
Yeah.
just like that was
A hair mask, also body
hello.
scrub, perfume.
I was like, yes, we're gonna get down with that for sure. Oh, this is the
Yeah.
TikTok destination thing. Yeah.
Elf was there. ELF, the makeup brand, they were giving out their new Halo Glow, which I have on right now.
They
It
had a
gives like a
really
subtle
nice
shine.
activation. I really like theirs over there. That
It
was a
was
good
really
one.
cute. Yeah.
What else do I have in here? I have like a bunch of stickers, hair mask, all this different stuff. This is gonna be like
Yeah, the
stocking
hair
stuffers for
mask.
sure. What else? A bunch of stickers. I don't know who gave this to me, but it's a sticker pack. Oh, belly gum. Do you remember the
Oh
big?
yes, I have the fan, the giant cute pink bear guy. He's so cute.
Yeah,
Did y'all take pictures with him?
we did take pictures. I need to go find it.
Yo, so Bellygum is like this Korean bear guy who does like variety content, and like when we took when I took pictures with him, he did the jump scare thing, and it's like just a picture of me being like, oh
Being
my
scared.
god.
No, that's adorable. I love it. What else do I have
Yeah.
in here?
I was like, I wanted a cute picture with him, but it ended up just being me looking surprised.
Fenty threw down. I'm like, I didn't
They
realize
came
that
through.
they
Yeah.
they brought a lot. One second.
Yeah, VidCon definitely, like, you definitely got your money back in swag from just like the free stuff that was being distributed.
I know like EOS had this like the snow cone.
Oh, I they were outside. I
They were
missed it.
outside. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we were like all day, every day. I was like, when you
But I
want to,
did
I was
get
like, when you want
the
something, we go over there.
Fanta, the
Did you get the
Fanta
Fanta?
float. It was very good. Yeah.
It was worth it for sure. Shout out to Hank who's like hopping in. It's like, hello, Eden and Stephanie. We're just
What
like fangirling
up?
all the fun stuff that
Yeah.
we had. Oh, if you're just tuning in, no, you're not watching the home shopping channel. You're watching the VidCon channel. It was good.
It
Okay,
might as well be home shopping though.
let's also talk about the evergreen content your fans will obsess over. Were there any cool AI tools that you came across that you're like, hey, people need to pay attention to this as far as like repurposing their content?
So actually, I didn't come across very many new ones when it came to AI tools. A lot of the ones being mentioned were Descript got a mention from Renee Teely.
Hey,
Opus Clip got a mention from Tyler Chow, the creator's attorney, who everyone should definitely follow. Like she was just dropping gems left
oh,
and
I've been
right. I
following
was
her on LinkedIn and she's just like,
yes.
here, here, here. I was like, this is a book.
She is a must follow. Like Tyler Chow, the creator's attorney, is a must follow. But I will say, like, so AI, with AI being everywhere, tools popping up left, right, and center to help you with your workflow, to better understand your audience and video performance. But like one of the sessions I went to was about how like nothing can actually replace you being a likable, real person and creating content
Oh, yeah.
that resonates with people. It was Andrea Casanova. Like it was about creating storytelling and creating approaching content from an evergreen perspective, and it was like about the hero's journey, about how everyone loves a quest and like everyone can kind of relate to like having something that you're climbing towards and that you reach a goal, but then sometimes there's like a fall from grace and then there's a comeback story,
Yeah.
or like content that resonates with people's emotions, like that can really help you build a stronger connection with your viewers, which like I really enjoyed, just because it's like we just talked about how we can get caught up in the weeds with looking at analytics. Like we love data and it's awesome, but at the end of the day, like creating
People love
content is
stories.
about like who people are. Like it's about like all the content creators that do well, like you don't follow them because you don't like them,
Yeah.
it's because their journey, something about their journey or their story resonates with you and like you can relate to it, and that makes you want to like engage with them and support them. And like no AI tool is going to like replace that anytime soon,
For
at
sure.
least
Like one of
soon.
my a content creator that I've been following like forever was Chriselle Lim, and I discovered Chriselle Lim when she was just starting her YouTube channel, and then she got married, and then she had two beautiful daughters, and then she got divorced, and now she's dating again, and I was just all like, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Or Michelle Fan, right? Like I
Oh
remember
yeah,
her back
the
in
OG. Yeah.
the Asian Avenue days. Like that was way, way, way back. But I was like, hey,
Yeah.
there's an Asian content creator that's wild. Saeed, the facilitator, is saying, is audio only podcast still a thing? Definitely for sure.
Yo,
But I
it
still like
is.
video is
Yeah.
still. I feel like video gives you more opportunity to repurpose your content, right?
Yeah.
To drive it back
It,
to your. At least that's how I feel. That's how I've discovered some hilarious podcasts like Shits and Giggles. Do you ever listen to that one? Do you know what I'm
I
talking about?
haven't heard
Oh my
of
god,
that
I'm gonna have
one.
to send it to you, and then you can
Please
brain drop
do.
it.
Yeah. So Saeed, I will say I am actually an audio first podcast consumer. Like I
Mm.
know a lot of podcasts are going video, and I think there's actually like a really fine line to walk, especially when you're in the process of branching out to video, because some people want to jump straight into video, but then they're neglecting their audio only audience, which is their audience that already supports them and like already enjoys their content. So I really want to shout out it's the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. It's a basketball podcast focused on the Philadelphia 76ers. They were audio only before. They got on to live streaming their podcast and doing video like much earlier than very many sports podcasts, but they have balanced the audio and the video and live streaming experience extremely well, and like they also have one of the strongest communities of a podcast I have ever seen. Like, I mean, nothing like a tortured sports team to like connect people, but like, but Spike and Mike, their hosts, like are they're just they do a really good job. And I really do feel like they are one of the audio first podcasts that have branched out into video and live streaming, and that they have done like a spectacular job of making the audio listeners feel like it's still just an audio product. You don't feel like you have to watch the video to be able to, you know, still connect with them, which I think can be a really hard balance to strike. Because it's like when I'm doing video, I'm often thinking about the video experience, and I'm not going to lie, a
Yes.
lot of the video content I create, it's probably not going to work that well as audio
No.
only. So
That's okay, like facts. Because everyone was always like, Stephanie, how come Lights Camera Live isn't, like a podcast? And I was like, because more often than not, I'm showing your comments on screen, or I'm doing, like it's very live
demoing
streamy.
something.
Yeah, or I'm
Yeah.
demoing something in that sense. Or like you and I just had like a whole unboxing, which like, sorry, audio only folks,
Yeah.
you're like, why is there just silence? Like, I don't get it. And then Daryl is saying, hard to watch a podcast video while you're driving. Then
Exactly.
you need
Yeah.
was it a self-driving car? So, excuse me, I need a self-driving car, please, so I can watch these podcasts on the road. No, totally agree. But yeah, I find that if I'm discovering new podcasts, it's either a friend is telling me, right?
Yeah. A
So
lot of
Eden
word of
just
mouth
shared
for
you.
sure.
Yeah. So word of mouth is always very helpful. Or I'm just discovering them on the other short form video platforms. And more often than not, it's usually Instagram, but TikTok definitely at the top, which is just so weird to hear me say that out loud, because you've known
Yeah.
me, like
Yeah.
you know me, and you've seen me live stream and talk about Ecamm and all this other stuff, and I'd always talk about like Instagram, or I would talk about YouTube, or I would talk about LinkedIn, but you haven't heard me talk as much as I have recently,
Recently.
right?
Yeah.
About
I've been
TikTok, because like
noticing.
literally I've just been living in it, just trying to learn all the things, because again, live streaming on these platforms are very different in how you produce on each one of them, and how you engage audiences and turn browsers into buyers is hella different.
But
Okay.
I think that's like awesome though. Just one little note about you totally just diving into TikTok. That's the only way to fully
Yeah,
understand a platform. You just have to do it. Like sometimes it is legit, the Nike symbol. Just do it.
just
Like,
do it. Yeah. And it's so
yeah,
funny because even as a content creator, sometimes you feel like, oh, are people going to judge me because I'm trying something new? But you're never going to be a master at anything until you actually try it, right?
yeah,
And I find that I learn a whole heck of a lot faster when I put some skin in the game and try it myself.
totally.
And I
Yeah,
would rather do that before I try to like consult a client and take over, like, try to produce one of their things without actually knowing the platform in and out.
yeah. That's why I
Love it.
follow you.
Well, stay tuned, because now I want to see if Fenty is on TikTok Shop. No, I'm just kidding. No. Oh, I was going to ask you, did you get the email about YouTube, the partner affiliate? Like you could do the affiliates on there now?
Oh, I have not, but I have not actually
You've been at
earnestly checked
VidCon
my,
with the
yeah,
product launch and all
like,
the different things.
yeah. I was like, I have not earnestly checked email lately. That's on the to-do list next week.
For sure. Okay, well, you and I have to do another episode because we're rounding out the hour, and we're still supposed to talk about the value in creator diversity. And I still want to talk about that, but I want to give it like room to breathe.
Yeah, I'm totally down because that was a very important, and I'm not gonna lie, a little bit heavy of a topic though. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's about where the topic was about how like it was called the changing faces of the creator economy, and how like it is becoming more diverse, but like also the things that minorities and women, people of color have to navigate as opposed to their white counterparts. So it's yeah, I'm totally down to save
Yeah,
that for
let's definitely spend
another
some time on
topic.
it too, because I feel like there are some content creators that I listen to that the mainstream don't, right? And a lot of them too come back to word of mouth, just from friends. Like they're one of my favorite podcasters is Call Your Girlfriends. Have you heard that one?
I have not. I
I'm gonna put
clearly
you
need
on
to
that one
get your
too.
entire. I need to get your entire podcast
Yeah, no,
feed.
and that's an audio first product in that sense, and it was a really good one that really kept me entertained, especially during the pandemic. That was when I first heard about them, because my girlfriend had sent it over to me, and every now and then I'll pop back in, and I've listened to a couple of real estate ones too. But for sure, let's dedicate another time to that one, because
Yeah,
I
that
love
that
just
sounds
hanging out
good.
with you.
Yeah, I know. I This was so much fun, and like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get to pre-plan for VidCon as much as I usually would have, and I had no idea you were going to be there. I saw it on your little Instagram thing. I was like, "What? You're here? Let me." I was just like, "You're here? Can we hang out?" And I got to decorate tiny cakes with you and your baby,
I
and
know, my little one. Oh, and she's
that
so,
was the
man,
best.
she's a little ham. You know what's funny too is that Rob
Yes,
Balatrabas,
Rob Mom.
he totally met her too, and it's just so funny because like I could see when they meet her, they're just like, "You're like your mom," or they'll say something like, "You know, your mom's on YouTube," and she's like, "Yeah, I know." You know, she's like, sometimes I see her in ads and stuff, and I was like, "That's so funny," because like you never really like, you're just like, oh, you know, like what are you picking up? Like what are you observing? You know.
Dude, my heart when it was at the Fenty, the little live shopping part of YouTube, and I don't even know what we were talking about, but like, I don't know if she was feeling the music, but she just
Oh,
starts
she
swooshing
vibed, dude.
and
She,
flipping her hair. I am like, Stephanie, oh my God. Like, it was incredible. Like, I'm just like, her confidence and her
yeah,
just like, her confidence really was the main thing, and just like intelligence. She's so precocious, and just her ability to like, the second the camera is up, she just knows what to do.
she
And
breaks it.
let's
Yeah.
that I don't even know if the turkey video edit that she's working on movie is even
Oh, that's
released
right.
yet.
She showed you her whole masterpiece. Man, she's been creating content. I don't know. Maybe I should bring her to creator camp or something.
Yes, oh my God.
Someone was asking earlier. I think it was Daryl asking about creator camp. But yeah, you're going, right?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm like, even if Kemo doesn't send me, I'm gonna take off and go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, so
I'm
we'll
going.
see everyone over at creator camp. Y'all got to let me know if it's sold out or not. I was just kind of like, no questions asked. Let's go. Booked. Done.
Yeah,
Game over. I don't even have to like think about it or just decide. It's like impulse buy. Yes. But we'll definitely see you guys there. And then you'll see us again because I'm going to invite Eden back over to the show when she's available. And
of
we'll talk
course.
about creator diversity because I think that's super helpful. Even now, you know, when I hit up stages and people are like, what made you decide to, create content? Like, I don't see a lot of people like me.
Yeah.
Or just like, or as dorky as me. Like I'm adorkable. I'm dorky and adorable at the same time. So we'll do it. We'll have fun.
Yo, and one final note on that is like, Stephanie, I do really feel blessed. Like, you are one of the first people that I got to be connected with doing lights camera, like doing the Leap into Live event. I was 3 months into the job, and like being able to see someone that, Asian female, that is like, you are someone that looks like me, like someone that I can relate to. Like, we have similar shared like life experiences. Like, these are things that like I just feel like my entire journey at my job would be totally different if I wasn't able to connect with you so early on. So I'm really grateful for that.
No, and you're definitely running with that torch. And having said that, we'll say bye to the crew. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We've got our swag and all the things. I really should just do another one.
The
All right.
heart, all
Bye
the
for
heart.
now. Bye. Bye. What was the one you
Bye.
did before? It
This
was
one, yeah.